Well, hi everyone. I'm Donna from Simple Retirement Journey, and it is Financial Friday. And I started doing this the beginning of the month, and today is January 30th, and I hope everybody's at least thought about planning a budget if you haven't done so already. So we started going over budgeting the beginning of the month, and the first thing I talked about was what is your why, and why do we want to have a budget? And we all have different needs. Some of us just want to know where all our money goes every month, and some of us have goals like taking a trip to Florida, for example. So how do we get from point A to point B? And I came up with some ideas, and I like to use the Budget Moms method. You can get the digital, or you can order her plan online. I'm not sponsored by her. I just like using her stuff. So she has some worksheets, and I will put them up. I have a cash worksheet, and I have I made a pretend credit card worksheet, and I have a checking book worksheet. So I will go into detail with that here in a little bit. And if you're new to budgeting, or even if you're seasoned budgeting, we need to keep track of everything. And most of my utility bills, I get emails for them. And I have a little planner here, so whenever I get notice about an upcoming bill, I write it down. And just this morning, I got my notification for my gas bill, which is due on February 12th. I've been worried about my gas bill because it's been really cold this month, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was only $153, which is still a lot, but I'm glad I know what the balance is. So we do that when we get emails. We write down on a calendar or someplace so we can remember how much the bill is and when it's due. And then another thing that I do is I have a little notepad here, and I save all my receipts, whether I paid cash for them or charge them on our credit or debit card, but I keep track of all our receipts. So that's that list. And I think that is it. I think we'll go ahead and start with the Budget Mom with the cash, and I will put a screenshot up. I'm going to look at it while I'm talking. And first I'm going to show my cash that I spent this month. And I pay for groceries and incidentals with cash. That's just something I kind of like to do. So I put the so I've itemized out what I spent this month with cash, and most of it is groceries. And then I have two items, and I took my glasses off. One was for vitamins, and I made a separate line for the vitamins because it's not groceries. And then I bought some, I just call it medical miscellaneous things. So I put that on my cash sheet, and then I'll put it onto my spreadsheet. And then I'm going to show this really quickly. I don't use a credit card, but you can create a credit card tracker. So you track all your expenses on that. And I'll show a picture. I ordered something from Amazon earlier this month. I just used that for an example. And then the main one is my checking account. And I show most things. I don't show how much I earn exactly. I'll give you a ballpark figure. And I don't share how much I give to charity, but I'm pretty open about everything else. This is a real budget, and I live on about $2,000 a month, so it's tight, it's doable. So I just want to show you how I survive. And what else was I going to say? I think that's about, oh, I kind of color-coded the spreadsheets. For example, I'm trying to read with my glasses off. I have a few subscription. I've highlighted that in the color blue. And then all my utility bills and everything, I've highlighted that in a light brown. And let's see, that's pretty much it. Oh, green means I received income. So, and I don't show that on the spreadsheet. I show the withdrawals, but I don't show the deposit. So I kind of keep that private, as I'm sure you understand. So once I do that, and some people like to do everything pen and paper, and that's fine. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to get out a notebook and just write down everything every month, whatever works for you. But I do both. I have these workbook pages, which I like. And I also have a spreadsheet, which I've used for years and years. It's called Vertex 42. It's a free Excel spreadsheet. And I've really enjoyed it, using it. And I kind of tweak it for my needs every month. So that's what I have used for many years. I'm trying to pull it up. Here we go. So January was kind of tough for me. I had a lot of dental work done in December and January. So the majority of it was done in December. How much was that? I spent a total of $700 in 2 months on dental costs. I had tooth removed, and then this week I had a couple small cavities filled. So that's been an added expense I don't normally have. And I've shown that on my spreadsheet. And then we've had a cold winter so far, so I've shown how much my gas bill is. I kind of budget my gas bill and my electric bill, and I talked about this in prior videos. But I have a budget, and whenever my bills are low in the spring and fall, I will throw money into a little savings account. So it worked out really well for January. My gas bill was $72 above the budget. So I moved $60 from my little savings account to offset that. And then this month, I have $64 left in my little savings account. And I didn't look at the number yet this month. My gas is $76 over budget for February. So I will have that set aside. So I kind of like to keep tabs on that. And what else did I have? Oh, every January, I have Homeowners Association dues, HOA. That's $181 every January. So I had to pay that. So I started a sinking fund. And a sinking fund is to plan ahead for an upcoming bill. So next January, my HOA bill will be $181. So if you take $180, I can't. If you take $180 and divide it by 12 months, I need to save $15 a month so that when next January rolls around, I will have the $180 in a savings account. And I can find another extra dollar, right? And I have a few other funds that I put money into. My car license plates, and birthday presents, birthday gifts, and Christmas. Christmas comes once a year, right? It shouldn't be a shocker. I did a little brainstorming this morning. I'm retired, and a lot of the people that watch my channel are retired. If you're not, I guess is it something to think about when you retire. But when I was working, I was paid bi-weekly, and I was used to that for years and years. And now we get paid once a month when we're on Social Security. We get paid once a month, but some months we go 5 weeks between Social Security payments. And January happens to be one of them. I realized there was 5 weeks between my December Social Security payment and my January Social Security payment. And when you're thinking month to month, you all your bills, so I did some brainstorming this morning, and a lot of my audience are retired now, and we receive our Social Security once a month. It's on a Wednesday. Goes by the alphabet. But I realized when I got paid my Social Security this month, it was 5 weeks from the December date to the January date. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, oh, I have 5 weeks of groceries this month. And maybe if you buy gas every week, you're putting gas in your car 5 times in that month period instead of 4. So it made me stop and think a little bit. How do you plan ahead for these things? So I got out my 2026 calendar, and I put a little line on top of my yearly budget spreadsheet. It says 5-week SS. So that means there's 5 weeks between payments of your There's 5 weeks of payments between your Social Security. And it's something to think about. So I know for me in January, and most people may have the same. I don't know. I don't know when you get paid. But the months that there's a 5-week time period between Social Security payments is January, April, August, and October. So I need to think about those 4 months and remember, like for January, how am I going to say this? So knowing ahead of time, when we have that 5-week span between payments, we can kind of plan ahead. So like in December, I should have thought, oh, I have to figure out 5 weeks of grocery spending between my December payment and my January payment. And that kind of threw me off this month because I take out cash every other week. And I'm still adjusting to getting paid once a month with Social Security. When I was working, I was always paid bi-weekly, and I had that all figured out in my brain. But going to once a month has kind of thrown me off a little bit, and maybe it has with you too. So there's 12 months in a year, but there's 52 weeks in a year too. So technically, if you divide 52 by 12, you come up with 4.33 weeks in a month. And when you pay bills monthly, it doesn't matter how many weeks there are in a month. So, like my utility bills, my mortgage, it's always due on the first date, the same date every month. However, we have weekly expenses, such as our grocery bill. We plan our meals week by week, and depending how often you drive your car, you may fill up your tank once a week or once a month. So that fluctuates, and we need to plan ahead for those weeks when we go 5 weeks between pay periods. So I created a line on top of my annual budget that says 5-week SS, which means 5 weeks between Social Security. And for me, we always get paid a certain Wednesday of the month. So I just went through the calendar for a year. So I was kind of thrown off because December to January, I had a 5-week time period. And I'm trying to figure out why I'm short on grocery money. And I thought, oh, I had to wait an extra week before I got my Social Security payment. So we need to plan ahead for these little things too. And technically, as I mentioned earlier, we get paid every 4.33 months. So if I spend $100 a week on groceries, every month I should take out cash, for example, $433. And then the months when we have 4 weeks, we use $400, and then we save the $33 for the month when we have to go 5 weeks. So we've got $33 first month, $66 the second month, and $99 the third month. So we're all set when we have that 5-week period between Social Security payments. So that's something I thought I would mention today. And at the top of my spreadsheet, and I hope I got this right, my 5-week months were January, May, August, and October. So I'll let you know later in the year if my months are off. So that's just something to plan ahead a little bit. That kind of threw me off. I took money out, and I didn't take money out the week I got my Social Security payment. I think that's what threw me off too. I took money out the week before and the week after. I hope that makes sense. So anyways, that's something I thought I would mention. And I've split out my spreadsheet. I have 2 parts to it. And the spreadsheet will be really small if I show the whole month all at once. So the first half is my housing and my vehicles and my health insurance. So those 3 categories, I don't mind sharing them because this is a real life example. So I have my mortgage, all my utility bills, my car insurance, and this month I didn't go out hardly at all. I've got just under half a tank of gas left in my car. So I won't need to fill up this month. And then I split the spreadsheet in half. So on another page, I have a second spreadsheet to show the bottom half. And this is my food and household, personal care, and entertainment. So I've split those out. What do I want to say about my insurance? Oh, I did mention in December I was going to go car insurance shopping because my car insurance went way up. Well, I found out why. I checked around and I found an independent insurance broker, and he confirmed what I suspected. But in 2024, I was in 2 car accidents, and I got dinged for having 2 car accidents in 1 year. So my insurance will be higher for the next 3 years. And the first accident, it was a freak accident. And it happened up in Michigan. Michigan is a no-fault state, I found out. And then I had another accident, which was my fault, in 2024. First accident ever in all these years. So I guess at no fault, they don't care. They don't care what happened. It goes against your auto insurance premiums. So my car insurance will be high for the next 3 years. So he said, call me back in 3 years and we can talk about this again. But I know I mentioned that before, so I just wanted to bring that up. So my car insurance, it went up $20 a month starting in December. And that isn't at a bill I wasn't too happy to get, but it is what it is. And I think we'll go to the next screenshot. And here I have my food and household, personal care, entertainment. And at the bottom, I talked about sinking funds a little bit earlier in the video. And I made a section here. It's called sinking fund savings. And in one column, I should have put a note on there, and I didn't. I think I did budget. There's a budget column before January 26th. So my budget every month is to save for upcoming expenses. And my HOA, I'll start putting $15 a month into that in February. And what I'm doing is I'm moving the money to a savings account, and I will probably move that to a high yield savings account so I can make some interest off of that. I talked about this last month, and I think what I'm going to do is keep 3 months of sinking fund money in my savings account at the bank and then move the rest to a high yield savings account. I hope I haven't lost anybody yet. So I've got my sinking fund savings, and there's a few that are blank, and I know I should be saving up for them, but I kind of don't have the money for it. One is home maintenance, and the second one is gardening. And last year I spent several $100s improving my garden. I bought some metal raised beds. So my gardening won't cost quite as much this year, but it's kind of a hobby. And so I thought I should, in the future, start a sinking fund for that. And what else have I got? I think that is it. So we can see for January, I need to put my glasses on here. My total was almost $2,300. I don't remember if I put that in there or not. I'll have to look. So my total for the month was $2,300. And part of that was due to, that's not my income. That my total expenses it's almost $2,300. And part of that was my dental bill for this month. And I also had to pay an HOA. And what I did last month, I'm going to take my glasses off. I have a small 401k fund, and I took $1,000 out so I could pay for my dental, and I have my HOA fund, so HOA bill. So my 401k, I use that money to pay for these upcoming expenses. And I think that will be it for January. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I also added a new spreadsheet. A few people were interested in comparing month to month, so I created another spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet has December actual and January actual. And I compared those two, and I think the notes are pretty self-explanatory. I have my HOA fund. I have my HOA account, and in January is $181, and I highlighted that in orange. I didn't want to highlight it in red, but it is a variance. It's something I only pay once a year, so I do have an explanation column called variance. and it was $181, and I said it was an annual bill. And then my electric and gas bills were higher than normal. And the balance for that is $279 that I went over. My December to January costs were an additional $279. I did good on the auto end of things. I didn't buy gas this month, so I came out ahead. In December I spent $28 on gas, and in January I spent nothing, so I came out $28 ahead. My Aetna Medicaid, it went up $17.90. And then in groceries, I need to update my groceries. I forgot to update this. I went to the store this morning. So I spent a lot more money on groceries in December than January. And part of that was it was Christmas. So my children and grandchildren come to my house for Christmas Eve dinner. And, you buy extra goodies. And also, I think in late December, one of the stores I shop at had some really good sales on meat, so I bought extra meat. So that's why my grocery bill was so much higher in December. And then my dental bills, as you can see, for December and January, the total expenses was $741. So I'm hoping I keep the dentist happily employed to have pretty teeth. So I told the dentist, I really do like my dentist. I said, I hope I don't have to see you till June. And that's when I go for my 6-month cleaning. So that's why my bills were so high. So this explains my variance. I hope this all makes sense. So I spent a lot more. In January, I had my HOA bills. And then December and January, I had unusual expenses for dental bills. And what else have I got here? Oh, actually, the variance at the very end, I came out. I spent $8.14 more in January than I did in December. And non-groceries, I bought a bunch of vitamins in December. I decided I'm on a bit of a health kick right now, and I decided to start taking vitamins every day, and I do notice that I'm feeling better, so I'm going to continue doing that. And then on down to medical, dental, I spent $741 in dental expenses in December and January. So my teeth have all been taken care of, and hopefully I won't have any more dental problems for quite a while. So that was an expense for both months, actually. So for January, I actually spent $200 less than I did in December. And I came out, I spent $8 less in January than I did in December. How about that? But a big chunk of it was the dental. And I'm hoping that in future months it will be closer to $2,000, because that's pretty much what I live on. And that's kind of why it's good to have a budget, is so I can realistically see what I spend every month. and how to plan for unexpected expenses. So for the dental, I have a small 401k account, and I took $1,000 out to pay for my dental and also my HOA bill. And that is why on the prior spreadsheet I showed you, I've started sinking funds. So I'm going to start saving $15 a month for my HOA. So next January, I will have the money for it. I won't have to stress out about it. So in the ending here, I know I threw out a lot of information to everybody, and I'd appreciate your comments. So I discussed a lot of things about my personal finance today, and I'm kind of hoping it helps you out. And if you have any comments, positive or negative, I'd like to know. If they're negative, please be kind. So I just want to help people. I just want to help people on their financial journey. And I do live on a lower income, so I know I know there's a lot of people living on a lower income. If you're not retired yet, I would strongly advise that you pay off all your debts that you possibly can. That is what I did. I had some credit card debt in years past, and I saved up and cash flowed my car that I bought a year ago. And I'm hoping, it's a Toyota, I'm hoping it will be the last car I ever need to buy, because they're good cars, and it's a 2019 model. So if you're not retired, please plan ahead and try to get all your debts paid off. And as for my home, my mortgage should be paid off in about 4 years, I think. I will be glad when that's paid off. And the actual mortgage payment is actually $454. So in today's world, that's not a lot of money. So my housing is pretty cheap. And that is how I can live on what I do. So planning for retirement is something that we need to think about. And I knew before I retired, I'm a homebody, and I didn't have any plans to travel or take cruises or anything. I just want to live a pretty simple life, and that's what I do. Okay, we're done.